A striking image from a fast-sinking world order. A lethal display of dominant military might trumping any sense of restraint.
This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is exactly how it should be.
The war in the Middle East continues to expand with each day. From America acting with seeming impunity to sink an Iranian warship in international waters off Sri Lanka, to the first NATO involvement, with Iranian ballistic missiles fired into Turkish airspace.
They are toast, and they know it. Or at least, soon enough, they will know it.
The military bluster and imagery setting a sobering backdrop for today's visit to Canberra by Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney.
Australia and Canada are middle powers in a world that is changing. We cannot change it back. But we can back ourselves, back our citizens, and back each other.
Your speech in Switzerland in January was a much-needed wake-up call for middle powers of the West. The rules-based international order has been exposed as wishful thinking of a bygone and benign era.
When the rules no longer protect you, you must defend yourself. A country that can't feed itself, fuel itself, or defend itself has few options.
Mark Carney's visit coincides with what he's calling a global rupture, which is forcing middle powers like Canada and Australia to rethink their place and influence, where the new source of concern is one of history's oldest villains, great powers acting capriciously.
And the question today for middle powers like us is whether we establish the conventions and help write the new rules that will determine our security and prosperity, or let the hegemons dictate outcomes.
Carney's message is that if you are too close to any one of those great powers, then you're at risk of becoming a supplicant. And that, I think, is actually a slightly awkward message for our government to hear, because this government, as well as the one it replaced, is actually doubling down on our alliance with the United States, particularly through the AUKUS arrangement.
Indeed, today, the Greens raised questions about potential Australian involvement in the US sinking of the Iranian frigate.
Were any Australian personnel on this US submarine when it sank the Iranian frigate and left the survivors to drown?
For operational and security reasons, we do not disclose specific information regarding Australian personnel.
Few leaders in the world owe their political success to Donald Trump as much as Mark Carney does.
They have to become the 51st state.
The US president's threats last year to take over Canada revived the country's faltering centre-left Liberal Party and propelled Carney into office. He's now turning an ability to confront Trump into a call to arms among like-minded countries.
In the post-rupture world, the nations that are trusted and can work together will be quicker to the punch, more effective in their responses, and more proactive in shaping outcomes, and ultimately, those countries will be more secure and prosperous.
Much of today's speech covered ways in which Canada and Australia can cooperate to become stronger on critical minerals, defence, artificial intelligence and capital, and a warning that both countries have underinvested in each other's economies.
Our pension funds and your supers constitute one of the largest pools, soon to be the largest pools of capital in the world, at present nearly $7 trillion under management. This is a strategic asset for our citizens and future generations, particularly in a riskier world where it will increasingly matter who owes whom and who owns what.
Mark Carney's visit has thrown light on the differences between the way Canada and Australia are talking about the Iran war and America's justifications. Government ministers are rhetorically glued to the idea that it's for the Americans to explain the legality of their actions in the Gulf. Carney, though, has no qualms about the matter.
It would appear prima facie not to be consistent or to be inconsistent with international law. It's a judgment for others to make.
Where both men agree is on the need to defang Iran's nuclear capabilities. And they're singing from the same song sheet about the regime's repression and export of terrorism. As the conflict heads into a sixth day, there are few signs it will end anytime soon.
I think the world wants to see a de-escalation and wants to see Iran cease to spread the destinations of its attacks. We also want to see the objectives achieved. I want to see the possibility of Iran getting a nuclear weapon removed once and for all.
Before there can be a ceasefire, there needs to be a de-escalation of hostilities. Right now we have a spreading of hostilities. We recognize that. And before we get there, there needs to be the ending of targeting civilian infrastructure. Those are necessary conditions before a ceasefire can exist.